Your daughter needs some sun, Mom said a minute before boarding. I didn't agree. I didn't know they'd taken her passport. 2 hours later, I was calling the consulate and closing the account from which they'd paid for the trip. I found out about their gift through a push notification from Delta. Check in now for flight DL 1872 to Istanbul. In my daughter's name. Pauline is 16. Underage. No passport in hand. Without me. And as it turned out 10 minutes later with my parents. I stood at the microwave with a coffee mug from Starbucks, the reusable one with a scratched out sign that read reusable. Recyclable. Staring at my phone screen, the only thing inside was, what the hell? Mom hadn't said a word. Not this morning, not yesterday, not last week. They just left. To a country the State Department marked as do not travel. A gift, you see. For Pauline. A little sunshine, a new culture. No power of attorney. No consent. No passport in the child's hands. They had the passport. In their bag. Along with Advil, petty currency and excuses. I didn't call right away. First I opened a Wells Fargo card. A joint account where $1,200 of my paycheck was deposited each month. For help, as my mom used to say. You make more money than that. There was a payment to Expedia $3,167. Airfare, hotel, guided tour. Then there were Venmo transfers to Pauline. From Grandpa. For souvenirs, smiley face. I didn't write. I just watched. 2 hours later came a message from Mom. Don't worry. We're all fine. Istanbul is beautiful. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Please don't ruin it for her. N. We took your daughter out without your consent. Don't ruin our vacation. This evening I opened my laptop. Checked my credit. Experian, TransUnion. All clear. Bye. Open Chase. Removed my mom from authorized users. Cancelled her Verizon Family Plan autopay. Blocked Zelle from transferring to her number. Sent a W-9 form to adjust the tax deduction. Mom will no longer be listed as a dependent. I didn't explain. I didn't call. No yelling. Just one text, short, factual. You didn't have my consent. Don't do this again. Mom didn't answer. But the next day my aunt from Georgia called. Isabel. What's going on? Your mom is really upset. You know her heart can't take this. I hung up. No comment. No explanation. No argument. 3 days later, a text from Pauline. Do you know where my passport is? Grandma says Grandpa has it. Grandpa says it's in the hotel safe. But I don't have the code. I'm kind of confused. Kind of? It wasn't panic. It was a surprise. A kid who suddenly had no ID. No control. No clear answer. I texted her. You're okay. I'm on it. Stay close. Don't give them your phone. Then a call to the consulate. It's a dry male voice. Ma'am, if she's a minor and she's abroad without legal guardian consent, that's reportable. Do you want us to open a case? I nodded like he could see me. Yes. File it. I didn't tell anyone. Not even when the neighbors waved from the driveway. Even when UPS brought another box from Amazon with vitamins for my mom, on my subscription. I just changed the shipping address. Cancelled her Prime. That was it. On the 4th day, they posted selfies on Instagram. Mom in a wide-brimmed hat. Grandpa in a t-shirt that read, #retired and loving it. Pauline is in the shadows behind their backs. Not a single caption. Just tags. #family trip, #blessed, #quality time. I didn't like it. I didn't write. Just took a screenshot. My mom called last night. Isabel, we have to talk. You're making a big deal out of this. I already talked to the consul, I said. Your trip is registered. Are you threatening me? I'm logging it. It's different. She hung up for about 10 seconds. Then she said, You're overreacting. We're your parents. And I'm a mother, I replied. Guess who's more important in this equation? I canceled her insurance copay. I took her off as an emergency contact at Pauline's clinic. My lawyer took over. On the 7th day, I got an email from my uncle's real estate lawyer. Just checking in. Your mom said you're a bit emotional lately. Hope you're okay. I didn't respond. Just went to the DMV and did a title change on the car. It used to be jointly titled. Now it's just me. Then the bank. Application to revise the inherited power of attorney. PO revoked. No notice. When they came back, I was home. In the kitchen. Baking bread. Pauline came in first. She looked at the floor. You're not mad? She asked me. I shook my head. No. But it won't happen again. Mom came in next. Straight to the attack. You started a witch hunt. We were just trying to do a good deed. You didn't give us a chance. I turned to her. Relax. This isn't about a chance. It's about the border. She threw her hands up. We're sorry. We thought you'd appreciate it. It's for Pauline. Don't take away my right to decide for my daughter, I said. Even if you think you know best. We were just trying to help. Her voice shook. Then start by giving me back control. And stop taking without asking. She turned away. Theatrically. Grandfather was silent. As always. A week later I got a postcard. Mom's handwriting. Family is forever. Hope you remember that. I tore it in half and threw it away. Not out of anger. Out of completeness. On Sunday I transferred Pauline to another school closer to home. I registered her on a passport with my data as a single parent. When the notary asked, "Any objections from the other guardians?" I said, "There are no others." He nodded. He didn't elaborate. And he was right. On Monday, HR sent a form for beneficiaries. I used to leave my mom in case of payment just out of inertia. Now it's just Pauline. And a copy to my lawyer. Not because I'm expecting the worst. Just because I don't trust anyone else. I remembered how I canceled a trip to San Diego 3 years ago because my mom was tired and asked me to help with the garden. How paying for their auto insurance when my grandfather's rate went up. How doing returns on their Amazon orders because there's English in there, I won't figure it out. And figured it out. This wasn't the exception. It was the rule. And I'm part of it. Not now. Tuesday morning. A call from an unfamiliar number. A voice. Isabel? This is Linda from your HOA board. Your mother called us about reassigning responsibilities for your driveway snow removal. Just checking if you agreed? I laughed. First time I've laughed in a while. No, Linda. I didn't. And I won't. Tell her Isabel said no. Okay then, she said. You sound firm. I am. When I froze my mom's credit card through Chase, she only found out at the grocery store. She was denied payment. She called right from the register. Something's wrong with the card. They say it's declined. I answered briefly. It's not an error. It's closed. Pause. Then. You can't just do that. I already did. She didn't call back. But in the evening an email arrived. On Gmail through the old family inbox. We need to talk. This has gone too far. We're family. I read it. Didn't respond. Next was the AT&T subscription. I crossed their numbers off the family plan. After that, my grandfather came to my house. No call. He stood in the hallway. He said, "Your mom's been crying all day. She says you're punishing her." I was a step above him. I'm not punishing. I stopped paying. It's not the same thing. He shrugged. It's not about money. It's about respect. I closed the door. Silently. Without slamming it. A week later the insurance bill came in Pauline's name. Turns out my mom changed her billing address. She'd applied for a custodial discount. Without consent. No power of attorney. A scan of the forged signature was attached to the form. I made a copy, sent it to the insurance company and added a complaint. 48 hours later they revoked the benefit and locked the account. I got a call back from the operator. Did you authorize this? No. I have sole custody. We'll handle it internally. You may want to update your legal files. I already did. Then the calls started coming in from aunts, cousins, even the neighbor down the street. Your parents are worried. They're heartbroken. This is not like you, Isabel. And I'd say the same thing to everyone. You only know their version. And I'm done performing. Some people didn't call back. Someone wrote, "Hope you're okay." No one apologized. 2 weeks later my mom sent flowers. For work. A bouquet with a card that said, "Let's talk. We miss you." I took it to the front desk. I said, "Anyone can take it. Not mine." On Sunday, Paulina told me that her grandmother had written to her on Instagram. She said you're unstable, that you're cutting them off because of stress. I replied, that's projection, not concern. She nodded. No question. She was 16, but she understood more than most adults. On Monday, I applied for Social Security, changed my emergency contact. Removing my parents from the forms wasn't vindictive, it was technical. How to remove an extra contact from an old address book. On Thursday, I received a letter from the HOA. Again, this time a complaint. My mom claimed I was violating family obligations in the community. They forwarded me a screenshot, a quote from their appeal. She has withdrawn from collective responsibilities. This is not what community means. I closed the email, and for the first time in a long time, I fell asleep, because if they call it family, I chose to be an outsider. On Friday, I got a call from Wells Fargo. The employee said there was a request from my mother access to our old joint account. He was surprised because the account was closed. I closed it 3 weeks ago. According to him, she claimed that Isabel misplaced the closing documents. Do you want to reopen the account? He asked. No, I said. I want it flagged, and her name on record. He understood right away. He said, we'll put her on the watch list, just in case. I started keeping a log. Every call, every transfer, every email, I recorded the date, the content, the consequences. Not out of fear. Out of order. Order was what they had always feared. They were building chaos. I responded with a spreadsheet. Over the weekend, my mom published a Facebook post. We all make mistakes. But when children reject their parents, it's no longer a mistake, it's a choice. We're still praying for her. 22 likes. Comments from her friends. You're such a strong woman. I'm so sorry, hope she comes around. Prayers for healing. I saved the screenshot in a separate folder called Manipulation. On Tuesday, I got a call back from the notary service. My mom was trying to file a general power of attorney through an old form where I signed it temporarily for a wire transfer. The form is dated 2019. The expiration date is 30 days. She forged a new date. I received a notification through the DocuSign system. I called the notary and said, that signature is expired and unauthorized. We figured. Just wanted to confirm. I added, if there's another attempt, I'm notifying the state bar. He understood. On Wednesday, a box showed up in my mailbox. It contained a family album, a couple of Pauline's toys, and a letter from my mom. You don't have to block us. We've always been there for you. We're getting old. Don't forget that. I haven't forgotten. I just don't consider it an excuse anymore. I closed the box and put it in the pantry. I let it sit there. As a reminder that even an album can be taken out of the house and nothing will fall apart. By Friday, I had disabled their numbers on my iPhone. Not blocked, turned off notifications, sound, visual alerts. They could still text. Only now it was to nothing. Like yelling into a turned-off walkie-talkie. I wasn't angry. It wasn't resentment. It was an inventory of lives, of resources, of silence. I was simply no longer their bank, their translator, their insurance, their picture card figure. I was someone else. Me. On Saturday, the letter from Medicare came. Mom listed me as an emergency contact without my consent. I guess she didn't think I'd recognize it. But the system sent a confirmation in the mail. I canceled the contact online. I sent a scan of the denial and stated in writing, I no longer carry any medical or legal responsibility for this individual. There were no questions. Sunday morning, I reviewed the paperwork. Tax credits. HOA payments. Old checks. I noted, in 6 years, I've covered 93% of the family's expenses. They are 0% responsible. And then I get a call from my mom's friend. Isabel, maybe you could just sit and talk it through. Family needs repair, not rejection. I'm not rejecting, I replied. I'm refusing to volunteer. She hung up. No goodbye. By evening, I had turned off the Wi-Fi on their old router. It was still under my account. Then I canceled their Amazon subscribe and save address. No more vitamins, paper towels, or coffee beans on me. They wrote a letter to Pauline. Typed one. Stamped. Real. We love you. But your mom is excluding us. It's not fair. We're getting old. We are lonely. Pauline showed the letter. She said, I don't think they understand boundaries. I replied. They do. They just don't like them. I didn't seek their forgiveness. I didn't wait for an explanation. I just started living. Without the things that used to seem like must-haves. Monday morning I turned off the shared calendar. The one with birthdays, doctor's appointments, insurance payments. They didn't notice right away. They didn't notice until a week later when they forgot to make a cardiologist appointment. Mom called. Why didn't you remind me? I stopped managing your life, I replied. I can't believe how cold you've become. You never knew how tired I was. I didn't show up for Easter. I didn't write. I didn't warn you. Pauline didn't go either. They posted a picture of empty chairs. Caption. Some places stay empty. Then Instagram stories from their friends. Sad when children forget their roots. Praying for peace in this family. Hope she realizes what she's doing. No tag. But everyone knew who they were talking about. In May I sold the house. The one we'd all lived in for 12 years. It was in my name, but my parents considered it family. I didn't discuss it. I just signed the papers. I called a realtor. Found an apartment closer to work. No garage. No guest room. No 3-name mailbox. 3 days later, voicemail from my mom. How dare you sell our house? You could have at least warned us. I deleted the message. Not because I was angry. Because it wasn't ours anymore. In June, I took Pauline off their address as mailing guardian. Now no letters from school, health insurance, or the DMV got to them. Only to me. Just like it was supposed to. The next day my mom posted a picture from Pauline's childhood on Facebook. Captioned, "You can delete us from the forms. But you can't delete our love." In the comments, support. So unfair. Grandparents have rights too. Stay strong. I wasn't commenting. I was removing access. One by one. When tax season came around, I got a notice. My mom filed as a dependent caregiver. Based on an old document from a year ago. I filed an objection. I attached copies. IRS sent me a letter. Claim rejected. False representation of custodial role. A week later they called. You're attacking us legally? No, I said. I just don't keep quiet anymore. Pauline suggested we change the number. I thought about it and agreed. Now no one who knew Mom could accidentally send her something from us. No more spontaneous visits. We were just in the neighborhood. Or, can we come in for a minute? The minutes were over. When I put up an ad to rent their former room, a text from my grandfather came in. Do you realize you're replacing your family with strangers? I didn't respond, but I found a tenant. A girl from tech school. Quiet, solvent. Doesn't call for no reason. Doesn't pry. More than you could say for family. They called the landline. They left voicemails. Just talk to us. We don't understand what we did. And then the catchphrase from Mom. You've made your point. Now can we go back to normal? I was sitting in the kitchen looking out the window. It was quiet. No one was making any noise. And I realized they weren't in pain. They're uncomfortable. I ordered a new card, not a debit card. A business account. Just my name. The old joint one was closed a month ago. But my parents kept saying, we're still counting on you. Now there was nothing to count on. No one. When the attorney sent the final document to remove the power of attorney, I signed silently. It took 37 seconds. Then I closed the laptop. And I felt nothing. No pain. No guilt. No doubt. They tried again. The letter. We're sorry. We admit we were too harsh. It's all due to fatigue. We didn't mean to offend you. Let's just meet. No accusations. I put the letter back in the envelope. I didn't tear it up. I didn't reply. I just put it in the done folder. In August, I processed the paperwork for Pauline's new passport. The form required the signature of a second guardian in case there was shared custody. I checked the box, sole custody, and attached the court order. When the officer at the DMV looked at the paperwork, he said, looks like you've cleaned house. I smiled. I had to. They left a mess. We went away for a week. Just the two of us. No posts. No photos. No geolocation. They didn't know where we were. And for the first time it wasn't unsettling. It was liberating. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from the HOA. The complaint was closed. No demands, no conditions. Resolved by lack of claimant response. Even they were tired. In the evening, Pauline and I ate noodles on the couch. She turned on a soap opera. I was watching the screen, not listening. And at some point she said, "I used to think that family was forever." I nodded. And now? Now I think forever is no reason to be patient. I muted the sound on all notifications. Delete them, no need to delete them. They don't get in the way anymore. In September, the notification from the IRS came. My forms have been approved, my return has been processed. Under family dependence, it was 0. For the first time in 12 years. Pauline started high school. I signed forms, paid fees, bought textbooks. No one interfered. No one was just looking in. There was silence. There was air. When UPS left the box at the old house, neighbors took a picture and sent it in. I thanked them. I ignored the box. If they wanted something back, they could have called. But they didn't. They never called again at all. In October, I filed a legal withdrawal of representation. I am no longer obligated to respond to any request, complaint, inquiry from them. The law is on my side. And the silence is with my daughter. On Thanksgiving, I was baking a pie. Pauline cut the apples, I kneaded the dough. I used to spend this time of year looking for recipes, sending out invitations, cleaning the living room. Now it's just pie. Just 2 people. No one extra. When they wrote again in November from a new email under a new name, I didn't open it. Didn't read it. Deletion is a choice too. For Christmas we went away. A small hotel in Oregon, mountains, snow. Our own pace. Our own days. Pauline asked, "Do you think they'll change?" I said, "No. But we don't depend on it anymore." In the evening I turned on the phone. Silence. Not a single notification. It was only then that I realized, this isn't the end. It's peace. I didn't forgive. I didn't demand that they do it. I just realized, the world doesn't fall apart if you're no longer comfortable. It gets quieter. And in that silence I stayed. Me.